iPhone and Android users, we have a free app. Download it today. AndrewHogue.com. This is AndrewHogue.com, still Australia's first and only 24/7 metal radio station here at Knotfest Australia 2023. It's good to have festivals back in this country. Over the last couple of years, it's been a bit of a shit show for the entire planet. And it's good to be reacquainted with Anders from In Flames. Welcome back to Australia.
Yeah, thanks for having me and us. Yeah.
Yes, and again, the last couple of years, everyone has the same answer that we just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And
we were in this part of the world. We were in New Zealand, and we were supposed to come to Australia right after.
For download,
Yeah, but then we were, if we would come here, we would end up in quarantine. So we just flew home instead. So yeah.
So how did you cope with the situation at that time? Because a lot of people had a lot of different views and also different strategies on dealing with what was completely unknown to our livelihood.
It was a crazy time. I mean, at first it was almost like I felt connected to every single person in the world. Something was happening to all of us, and that was strange, because it never happened to me before like that. But then obviously I want to be part of this group, and I've been doing this my whole grown-up life, touring and playing music, so it's a big blow. You can do it and hang with your friends, and because we're a huge touring family. So instead I built a studio in my house, bought a lot of old analog synths and start creating ambient music instead, because I was on my own and tried to learn to play the piano and just create music. So I that's what I did for those 2 years.
Well, that's what I noticed. You've actually did release that solo project, If Anything Suspicious, which you're wearing the hoodie as well. What led you to create that kind of music? I mean, that's something I presume you've been listening to for quite a number of years, but was that the right time for you to use that time to create that out there?
Yeah, definitely, because I was on my own, and also I want to create like a imaginary soundtrack to an imaginary movie. It's I want to go as far away from In Flames as possible, so no one can say anything about it. You can't, because it would be stupid of me to do something that sounds like sort of In Flames, and I didn't want to sing, because I've done so much music at home, and when I get to writing the lyrics, I'd be like, ugh, shit, no, and then I do another song, so that was a way for me to just, drift away, do something completely different.
What I've noticed is artists over the years, they've done side projects and it really still sounds a bit like their band, so you can kind of tell, but when they do something completely different, fans scratch their head like, what the hell is this? Like, you can't be evolved into a different sort of realm. So did any fans sort of respond to this project for you at all? Like, what the hell's going on with Anders? He's all gone trippy.
But the thing is, I don't care. That was with In Flames. Every time we do something, every time we come up with a new album, people talk about it, which is cool, and I like that. But I want to do something where no one can say I've done it before. I mean, now I've released an album. Now people will compare the next album to this album,
of course.
But for me, it was just a way for me to do something which had no boundaries, and try to say something without lyrics or someone singing. So,
I did see a couple of YouTube comments where everyone's like, damn, I wish Anders would start singing clean vocals over that sort of stuff, because it has a real ethereal kind of
the thing is, I have stuff like that too that I've done that's on my computer, but not
going to put it out there.
I don't know. I mean, because I don't need to. I mean, for me, it's as soon as it leaves my system, I'm sort of done.
Yep.
That's the same with the new In Flames album. We were done with the album somewhere in May, June. And we had it in our back pockets up until the day of the release. And when we release it, I just give it away to the world, and it's not I can't control it anymore.
Of course.
It's out of my hands, which is great. And then takes its own journey.
Now that record, the new one, Foregone, album number 14, it's super, super heavy, and a lot of people have been divided by In Flames' change of direction around the early 2000s, even to now, where it's like, some like the earlier stuff, some like where you're at now. So, whereas this new record, people always say, oh, they've gone back to the old, but it's still In Flames of now, but it has a lot of elements from the past, but it's not a regression in any way. What response has it had?
It's funny, because I don't know what do they mean with what period is old for them, because we've, as you said, this is our 14th album. We've done a lot. I don't think it sounds like Lunar Strain, which is the first album. I don't think it sounds like Clayman, which is mid 2000. I don't think it sounds like whatever came which is fairly new, you know. So I think it's a good mix of everything, and it sounds In Flames. It has the, you know, the melody, aggression. It's the DNA of In Flames, and that's what we want to do. And then I stopped reading comments. I stopped following what's going on. That would just drive me insane. I did that for like way back, you know, when you want people to understand. You try to, like, if somebody are not happy with what you do, you try to explain to them your intentions, which is really, really stupid, you know. Like, it's like, now it's just, this is my music. That's what I meant with, when the album is released, it takes on its own journey. I can't
control that.
If you like it, you like it, cool. If you don't, then, you know, listen to something
else.
Yeah. So but it's been received really well. I mean, I do hear what people say, because, you know, management tells us and touring managers tells us. But for me, it's the most important things, the fans, when we meet them up and close, and when they tell us the story about our songs, what the songs mean to them, that's my greatest reward, you know?
Yeah, that's the best feedback you want as well, where it actually touches people, as opposed to this is shit with all the trolls. Can't stop there.
Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, people are entitled to their opinion, you know. It's just like, you can't, whatever. If you want to spend time on complaining about this or that, and then well, do it, you know.
So if I went back to 1994 and said to yourself, in 2023 you'll still be making heavy metal music under In Flames, what would you have said?
No, I didn't know.
I mean, did you think that you'd hit a 30-year career? I mean, I sit there and just go, fuck, 30 years.
No, not at all. I mean, I am always in the now, pretty much, you know. Like, you create an album, you release an album, you go on tour, and then you do that for a couple of years, and then you want to do some new music, and then that's how you continue. That's why the COVID years were such a tough one, because, you know, anyway, doing this for such a long, you start, maybe I don't know, like, you start taking things for granted. Like, you expect people to be there at all times, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, that's not the case. So it's been a very good, humbling experience to you realize that this won't happen forever and ever and ever, you know. So now every show is special, and every meeting is special, and I think it's, you know, in a sense, the COVID, it's terrible for a lot of people. A lot of people lose jobs and family members and so on. But for our band itself, I think it's been good, to be honest. We were able to take a step back and realize what we've been missing, and what is important, you know.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed with a lot of artists I've spoken to about how they've coped with it, and a lot of us just said, it gave me a chance to really step back, because this industry never sleeps.
No.
And when you're an artist, you're not just putting the music out there, but you're creating all the time. You're in your head, you got an idea, and there's never really an off switch. So some artists I was speaking to were climbing the walls like, shit, get me out of home, I want to get on the road. But when they're on the road, they want to be home. So when you talked about being sort of present, because the band's got such a long career, how do you feel every time you meet a fan, they just pull you back into the past and say, you know, tell me about this album or that, and you just have to sort of reflect? I mean, is that a trip for you to sort of go back to past eras and signing old photos and looking back going, fuck, that was what, 98? Wow, okay.
I mean, it's cool. It's awesome. I mean, you are in a bubble in a sense. Like, sometimes it's difficult to step away from that bubble and from the outside. But I am, you know, I'm very proud of what we achieved, and you know, we created a sound that traveled the world together with some other bands, started in a small town in Sweden, you know. So that's very, very cool. And when you talk to fans that they acknowledge this, it's amazing. But sometimes, you know, they want me to explain a lyric, you know. It's not like I have every single lyric, every word in my head, and then you can see like the disappointment in their eyes, where like, oh, you don't know it, you can't you know, because I write it and I give it away, and then
Are there times when you are playing an old song where you're singing the lyrics and you're just like, what the hell is this all about? Because it is a reflection of your past, or who you were at that point.
Now I can't. No, I mean, I get what I've been writing, of course, but I have to read it. But it's been there are a lot of songs right now, and you know, when we decide to play some old stuff, bring it back into the set list, I do have to look at the lyrics, like. But it's there. It's easy, accessible.
It's more to do with the meaning, and just thinking, what is this song? What was this about? Because it takes you back to a time in your life as you wrote it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The lyrics there, the photograph who I were at that time in my life. So yeah, for sure.
Because I remember I interviewed Monkey from Korn, and we talked about, you know, how people can reinforce words over time reinforces the pattern of the behavior of that time. And Jonathan's obviously wore his heart in his sleeve most of his life with the lyrics of Korn. So to go out there and put yourself in that state, and then to go back to that trauma, because a lot of music that people write and express have come from those places. And so it's more just understanding that when you're going back into an earlier time of your career and you're reading lyrics, I'm not saying they're as traumatic as Korn as an example.
No. But I know what you're trying to say. But for me, it's just I just it doesn't draw me back into I mean, because I wrote a lot of lyrics that are pretty dark too, but it doesn't bring me back to that place really. It's I can
separate.
And that's what I mean. I heard it somewhere, I don't know where. It's like when if you have troubles, just write whatever is in your head, go into the forest, burn it, and bury the whatever remains. And that's sort of what I do with the lyrics too. I write them and put them on the album, and
then you're done with it.
Yeah, they just drift away,
Yeah.
So but it's like every time also you put so much work into an album, so as soon as you're done, you'll be like, how will I ever be able to do another one? Like. But then you start working, and all those words and the music comes to you. It's like you're channeling something.
I was going to ask about the pressure you guys all have on yourselves of trying to make the best record you can, because a lot of bands go in the studio with that intention to try and let's just put out our best work for us.
Yeah.
It's not always some bands do it to please the fans, like cookie cutter. But I know In Flames have always been a band that challenges themselves first, and it's so great to hear that, because that's really what we're there to create. That's what artists do. To please themselves and hope that let's just see if anyone gives a shit, and we put it out there, and obviously success can catch on if it's positive.
Yeah. I mean, we are the only ones that decides when it's time to create a new album. And I mean, we're a touring band. We love to tour, and when we feel we're ready to do another album, we do it. It's not a record company decision. It's not a management decision. It's just Björn and I. We were like, yeah, it's time. And then we get in, because we have like two different modes in a way. Like there's a touring band, and then there's the recording band, and time to do an album. And when that switches on, then that's what live and breathe 24/7, and that's all we do. And I don't feel the pressure. I don't think in terms of it has to be better. It's just that comes very natural, because I think every time I know fans have their favorite albums and they don't agree with everything that we do, and I think that's cool too. But every time we're done, when I say, okay, this album is done, I feel this is the best we've ever done in whatever. I mean, so and I just leave it at that and then move on to the next one. So the pressure is not really there. I mean, of course, you want to perform better. You want to become better at your instruments, and I think we do. Or we are better, like, instrumentalists these days than we were in the beginning. But also in the beginning, there's so much naivety to what we did, which is awesome too. That brought
honesty.
Yeah, and it brought something special. Like my first album for In Flames, The Gesturation, that was done in 11, 12 days, including mixing.
Wow.
I think I had vocals one day, everything. And something cool come out of that.
Absolutely.
But we could never
do that now.
No. And that would be right. If someone asked us to, again, with going back and do something like, oh, you should go back and do this. We can't. It's just that time is
totally
it's gone. And why change something that is beautiful, like already created? It's like it would be Just a Race Part 2. That would be the end of our band. Like,
and the same too when
I love that. I love what we've created. Every single step. We are here for a reason.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I hear about bands when they re-record old stuff. It's like, but that was what it was for that time. Regardless of production not being great, there's always an honesty there, because, like you said, people won't record albums the way you did back then now, because technology's just like the master. For sure. I mean, we never really celebrated anything like our past anniversary stuff.
So we did something for Clayman, because it was like 20 years or whatever. And so we went into the studio with Howard Benson and the team and re-recorded some songs. And for us, it was just a celebration. It was not trying to, let's do something that is better than the Clayman of 2000. It's us to celebrate a work that is very important to us.
Yeah.
And then people hear it and say, oh, it sounds like this, it sounds like that. They try to do. It's like, you misunderstand the whole thing. It's a celebration. Like.
Yeah.
pat ourselves on the back for once, because it's constantly going and going, next one. So yeah.
Let's talk about I guess we can't predict it, but the future of heavy metal. Like I said, you guys have got a 30-year career. There's no signs of slowing down anytime soon, and to build that longevity, it's rare today for new bands coming up. Okay, the technology's there, they got the instant access, the Spotify streams or whatever, but to build a career, to sustain, that's a big question mark, because now there's so many bands out there. Like, what's your view on where things are going, the generations and all that sort of stuff? I mean, do you keep up with what's sort of out there?
Yeah, I try, and I listen to. I mean, I'm curious about new music, and Malevolence, who are here today, is a fairly new band to me that I really like. Alpha Wolf, Bad Omens, and North Lane, and I follow stuff. Like I don't know every single thing about them. I don't know how many albums everyone. But I'm aware, and I dig parts, I think we were lucky in a way when we started before internet and social media and all the hysteria, because now it's like music feels like fast food.
100%.
And it's way easier to get out there. You can do everything on your computer or on your phone even, but it's way more difficult to be heard because there's so much stuff.
Cut through the noise.
Yeah. And I think you need to be a touring band. You need to be a band that can play your music live too. I think that's very, very important.
And even that's hard because there's more bands, they say, than fans, because fans can't afford to go to every show.
Yeah.
And then you're competing with every other person that seems to be more in a band than they are a fan.
Yeah.
They always say that there used to be, one band to a million fans. Now there's like a million bands to one fan. It's like, wow.
But I think this type of music will always survive. Yep. There's a new generation coming and bringing new ideas, taking inspiration from others, like we took or stole things, or whatever you want to call it, from our heroes, And so that will continue. I think metal is such a powerful force, and fans are like amazing. Like they are so into their bands, which is awesome. So that will continue in any whatever shape and form. So yeah.
Rock and roll. Well, we'll get you to choose. Actually, we're going to do a bunch of stuff here. We'll get you to choose one of your favorite tracks from the latest album, Foregone. Something from the past, just a classic one. And I want to play something from your If Anything Suspicious project debut album. What was it called? Lullabies for the Damned.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I want to have a bit more of a listen to it.
It's pretty trippy. It's I mean, if you fall asleep, that's an achievement that I appreciate. Like that was. It's supposed to be a very relaxing album, anyway, for you to drift away. So for the new album, I mean, it's difficult. I love them all. We play The Great Deceiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go with a classic one from the back catalogue that you just go, fuck, I'm glad I wrote that song.
I think Graveland from the Jester Race. Like Jester Race is so special to me since it's the first album I did with the band, so I think that's very cool. What's
special about it to you even now?
It's the first one.
Just the first.
And like I explained before too, the way it was done, and it's like, it's something really honest and pure. And it was in a time when At the Gates and Dark Tranquillity and these bands and Arch Enemy came up to Gothenburg to record, and Soilwork came up, and it was a lot of things happening, and we got more attention from people found out about what's been going on in brewing in Gothenburg for
massive buzz for years,
for a while. So that was just really cool.
How do you feel now knowing those bands are still out there playing?
It's amazing.
It's just so cool. Like
We did a tour in Europe, and we asked our friends in At the Gates to come with us and open up on the tour, and it was awesome. And we the last show was the biggest indoor arena that we have in Gothenburg, so it's almost 10,000 people. It's sold out, and for me being on that stage, that's a place I went to see Iron Maiden and Priest and all that when I was younger. And us and At the Gates started sort of at the same time, and we played all the small clubs in Gothenburg, like everywhere. And now together we're here on this great night. It's awesome. Yeah, almost brought me to tears.
Well, that's good. It's important.
It's a good feeling.
And just off the solo project, If Anything Suspicious, what's a song that we can try not to put the audience to sleep?
Well, all of them will put you to sleep, and that's the intention. You can't, don't forget.
Sleep metal.
Yeah, well, press play on tape. You can play that.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Let's check it out on andrewhogue.com. Thanks
You
so
should
much.
actually actually listen to from the beginning to end. That's the intention of the album. So.
Well, again, it's a 24/7 station, so we'll just
let's put it on there.
Just play the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for your time, Anders. It's been great to see you. Let's
me.
check out some In Flames here on andrewhogue.com.